In the vast savannas of prehistoric Africa, the morning sun cast long shadows over a landscape teeming with life and danger. Herds of grazing antelope and distant herds of mammoths moved cautiously across the golden grasslands, yet the most formidable threat in this world was neither predator nor rival tribe. It was a giant bird, a towering ostrich with legs strong enough to crush bone and a speed that could outmatch any human on foot. This was a creature shaped by evolution to dominate its open plains, and early humans faced a challenge that required not just courage, but strategy and innovation. The story of humanity's encounter with this colossal bird is not just a tale of survival. It is the first recorded battle of brains versus brawn, where spears and strategy met raw speed and strength. The giant ostrich, unlike its modern descendants, stood nearly 3 meters tall, with muscular legs that ended in clawed feet, capable of delivering lethal kicks. Its eyes were enormous, scanning the horizon with unblinking vigilance, while its neck, long and flexible, could strike or sweep aside obstacles in its path. For early humans, who had spent countless generations learning to hunt smaller game, encountering such a creature was an existential shock. Their usual methods, tracking, ambushing, or setting traps, were largely ineffective against an animal whose speed was unmatched and whose reactions were lightning fast. This new predator-like challenge demanded a transformation in human thinking, a shift from reliance solely on strength and tools to the calculated use of environment, timing, and cooperation. Early humans observed the giant ostrich from afar, noting its patterns and habits. It moved in bursts of astonishing speed, often running in zigzags to avoid predators, yet it was not invincible. Its size, while terrifying, also made it less agile in certain terrains, particularly near rocky outcrops, dense shrubs, or uneven ground. The first humans who dared to confront it realized that a head-on chase would end in disaster. They could not outrun it, nor could they hope to strike it safely with primitive weapons while it was in motion. The solution emerged, not through courage alone, but through collective intelligence, a concept that would become the foundation of human survival against seemingly unsurmountable odds. The development of the spear became a turning point in this struggle. Early humans had used sharpened sticks and later flint-tipped spears for hunting, but the encounter with the giant ostrich demanded refinement in design and technique. Spears were lengthened to provide distance between hunter and prey, tips were hardened and shaped for penetration, and weight distribution was carefully considered to allow for both throwing and thrusting. Yet a spear alone was insufficient. It required a strategy, a choreography of motion and timing, where hunters had to anticipate the ostrich's reactions and exploit moments of vulnerability. Observation was critical. Humans studied the ostrich's gait, noticing that it could accelerate to incredible speeds, but had limited endurance over extended chases. The bird's enormous legs allowed it to sprint rapidly, but they were less effective in maneuvering tight spaces or when fatigued. Early humans used this knowledge to plan ambushes near natural barriers, such as cliffs, dense thickets, or marshy grounds where the bird's speed could not be fully utilized. By combining their understanding of the landscape with the reach and lethality of spears, they began to transform hunting from a game of chance into a structured engagement. Hunting parties adopted coordinated tactics, often involving multiple individuals performing distinct roles. Some hunters acted as lures, drawing the ostrich toward a trap or a confined area, while others lay in wait with spears poised for precision strikes. Communication, though limited to gestures, grunts, and signals, became a vital component, ensuring synchronization and minimizing the risk to the hunters. The use of deception, timing, and teamwork reflected the first conscious effort to strategize against a predator of overwhelming physical capability. It was the triumph of collective intelligence over brute force, the very essence of human adaptability. The ostrich, however, was not a passive opponent. Its awareness of danger was acute, and its instincts honed through millennia of survival. It would often circle, kick, or feint, testing the hunter's reactions, probing for weaknesses in the formation. Humans learned that impatience was fatal. Rushing the attack led to injury or death. Instead, patience, observation, and careful positioning became paramount. Hunters had to read subtle cues, the twitch of a feather, the shifting of weight, the direction of its gaze, to predict the bird's next move. Every encounter was a test of nerves as much as skill, a delicate balance between action and restraint. One of the earliest documented strategies involved the creation of defensive formations. Hunters would spread out in semicircles, using spears to create an invisible barrier. The goal was not only to inflict harm, but to control the ostrich's movement, guiding it toward terrain that limited its speed and maneuverability. In some instances, small embankments or fallen trees were leveraged to redirect its path, forcing it to slow down or stumble. The ostrich's very size became a disadvantage when confronted with obstacles, cleverly utilized by human ingenuity. Over time, these methods evolved into a sophisticated blend of offense and defense, blending spear technique with environmental manipulation. Spears were also adapted for both ranged and close encounters. For throwing, hunters learned to exploit momentum, using the bird's predictable bursts of speed against it. A well-timed throw could strike as the ostrich lunged forward, piercing its legs or body and gradually wearing down its stamina. Closer encounters demanded bravery and precise coordination, with one hunter distracting or feinting while another delivered the critical thrust. Each strike was calculated, measured, and informed by previous experience. Failure was instructive. Injury or loss reinforced the importance of strategy, teaching the hunters to refine their approach with every attempt. The psychological dimension of this confrontation should not be underestimated. Early humans had to overcome instinctual fear and develop courage that was tempered with planning and foresight. The giant ostrich was not only a physical threat, but a symbol of the untamed wilderness, a reminder of the dangers inherent in their environment. Yet these encounters fostered resilience, creativity, and a deeper understanding of predator-prey dynamics. Humans discovered that by combining mental acuity with physical capability, they could survive and even thrive against threats that seemed beyond their natural abilities. Over generations, these experiences left a lasting imprint on human culture and technology. The lessons learned from hunting the giant ostrich influenced spear design, hunting tactics, and the development of cooperative behavior that would define early human communities. Children observed adults, learned gestures, and internalized strategies, ensuring that knowledge was transmitted across generations. Storytelling, mimicry, and practical demonstration became as important as the tools themselves. The confrontation with speed and power became a crucible in which human ingenuity was forged. Even in failure, these encounters provided invaluable insights. Hunters learned to identify weak points in the ostrich's defense, to gauge the optimal distance for attack, and to anticipate sudden changes in behavior. Observation of fatigue, posture, and response times revealed patterns that could be exploited. The dynamic between human patience and ostrich instinct created a continuous feedback loop, where trial and error led to incremental improvements in technique. Each engagement refined the understanding of timing, coordination, and spatial awareness, a foundation for more complex hunting strategies against other predators. This interplay between technology, intelligence, and adaptability is a cornerstone of human survival. The giant ostrich, with its raw speed and formidable strength, was not merely an adversary, it was a teacher. It pushed humans to innovate, to collaborate, and to think several steps ahead. The development of spear tactics against such a creature represents one of the earliest recorded instances of humans using strategy to overcome physical limitations, a moment where the mind began to assert dominance over brute force in the natural world. In the end, the battle of spears versus the giant ostrich was a defining moment in early human history. It exemplified the shift from passive survival to proactive problem-solving, where observation, experimentation, and cooperation became tools as vital as claws, teeth, or raw strength. The giant ostrich remained a formidable presence on the savannah, yet humans were no longer helpless. Armed with knowledge, patience, and ingenuity, they could engage, evade, and overcome threats once thought insurmountable. The encounter left a legacy of not only survival, but of innovation, laying the groundwork for the complex strategies and technologies that would shape human evolution in the millennia to come. In the end, the story of Spears versus the giant ostrich is not simply about a hunt. It is a story of adaptation, of humanity's first steps toward mastering the environment through intellect and teamwork. It is a story that echoes through the ages, a reminder that survival is as much about understanding and strategy as it is about strength. And as the sun set over the golden plains, the shadows of hunters and ostriches alike stretched long and intertwined, marking the dawn of human ingenuity against the raw forces of nature.